Okay. So thank you again for joining us today, where we're going to talk about IMNIS and find out everything that you need to know. Just a couple of reminders before we start. The applications for IMNIS are currently open and they will close at 9 a.m. on the 12th of June. There's a QR code on your screen now that will take you directly to the application form. If you have any questions throughout the session today, please use the Q&A button in Zoom. Scott will be taking questions at the end. So we'll get your questions and just hold on to them until the end. And if we answer them throughout, you'll see that there. And so I'd like to welcome Scott Cummins from IMNIS. I'll just change it so you can actually see him. And welcome, Scott. I'll let him take it from here on in.
Terrific. Okay, thanks, Katherine. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this information session. My name's Scott Cummins. I'm the IMNIS Program Manager with the Australian Academy of Technological Sciences and Engineering, which is better known as ATSE, and it's a pleasure to welcome you all online this afternoon. To begin, on behalf of ATSE, I also respectfully acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands on which we all connect today, wherever you are, and I pay respect to their elders past, present and emerging, as well as elders and representatives of other communities and any Indigenous STEM students or professionals we have online today. So we're connecting today for this information session to discuss ATSE's award-winning industry engagement initiative, the Industry Mentoring Network in STEM, which is better known simply as IMNIS. But before we get into the detail of the program, I'll provide some very brief contextual information about ATSE and the work that we do more broadly. So just onto the next slide, please, Katherine. So, that was the previous one, I'm sorry. So the Australian Academy of Technological Sciences and Engineering is an independent, non-profit organisation that aims to provide impartial, practical and evidence-based advice on how to achieve sustainable solutions and advance prosperity through technology. We provide expert advice and insights on a range of technological and engineering issues to government, to industry and the community. We conduct research, we publish reports, host events to promote discussion and collaboration. And this is achieved through engagement with our fellows who are drawn from a variety of different areas, from academia, from industry, government, research organisations, and they include people like chief scientists, CEOs, vice chancellors, heads of research institutes, and many other eminent people who are essentially the nation's leaders in science, technology and engineering. And one of the Academy's strategic priorities is to grow Australia's capacity to innovate and use technology by inspiring and fostering young people to pursue STEM careers. And this program contributes towards achieving this objective. So just on to the next slide, thanks. So to meet this strategic priority, we create pathways to inspire young people to pursue a career in STEM. And our work in this area starts with programs focused on school-age children to do our best to spark their interests, right through to our STEM careers portfolio, which is what we're focusing on today. And you can see from the slide that there's a genuine pathway for you to engage and participate in, commencing with the IMNIS Engage program, our mentoring and professional development program, which is the key focus area for this presentation. But once you've completed the IMNIS Engage program, you become alumni, which opens up opportunities for you to further your development in our alumni programs, and these programs include IMNIS Catalyst, which is an ambassador program where IMNIS alumni represent IMNIS and ATSE in the broader STEM ecosystem and receive training in areas like science communication. And we also have the IMNIS Ignite program, which is our new postgraduate internship program that provides industry experience for IMNIS Engage alumni in a real world setting. So I hope this demonstrates the pathway open to you if you do decide to participate. And I'm without our IMNIS Ignite program manager, Laura Navarro, because it's a public holiday in Canberra. But I'll do my best to cover these pathway programs in more detail towards the end of this presentation. But for now, let's shift our focus to IMNIS Engage, our mentoring and professional development program, which you may be considering participating in. So what is IMNIS? Well, the Industry Mentoring Network in STEM is an award-winning industry-led initiative of the Academy, ATSE, And IMNIS connects motivated PhD students and postdoctoral fellows in STEM with outstanding and highly experienced industry leaders in a one-year mentoring and professional development program. And through IMNIS, we also host 5 state-level events and various professional development programs through each program cycle. And this is to facilitate industry-based education, training, and networking. So with IMNIS, Australia's future STEM leaders engage with industry. They extend their professional networks, they strengthen their interpersonal skills and business acumen, and gain professional skills to lead and excel. And as a mentee, you'll learn what it takes to succeed in industry. You'll gain a better understanding of how industry works and learn about career opportunities in other professional sectors, all through the expertise provided by a mentor that's for you. So to be very clear from the outset, IMNIS isn't a job placement program. We have that IMNIS Ignite program for alumni that does meet this function. But this particular program, it's about preparing you and helping you develop to be able to lead and excel within any part of the STEM ecosystem. So what does IMNIS aim to do? Well, quite simply, it's about bringing industry and academia together to develop a new generation of PhD qualified graduates that are capable of industry engagement, diverse research collaborations, professional networking, and helping future STEM leaders develop an understanding of research translation, innovation, and commercialization alongside fundamental research. So just on to the next slide, thank you. Thank you. Just a brief acknowledgement of our partners and sponsors for the program. We're powered by generous collaborative partners and champions that have supported IMNIS since it began in 2016. Our major partner is the Industry Growth Centre for Medical Technologies, Biotechnologies and Pharmaceuticals, MTP Connect. And I'd also like to acknowledge our supporters who are a tremendous source for our mentors, finding our mentors to participate in the program and providing our professional development programs as well. And these are people that come directly from industry and have that expertise. We also have venue support for our events throughout Australia at KPMG offices, which is absolutely fantastic. So there's a genuine wealth of collaborative spirit and goodwill behind IMNIS. Just on to the next one, thanks. So how does IMNIS Engage work? Well, each year universities and research institutions join IMNIS Engage as participating organisations. And each of these organisations have a designated point of contact who liaise with IMNIS in the lead up to the new program launch. For QUT, it's Katherine. And these coordinators are usually university personnel from within the university's graduate research office. At about this time of the year, ahead of the new program relaunching on the 1st of July, each participating organisation will send out an expression of interest form to you, and the university undertakes the selection process and has the final say in who they put forward for the program. I'll cover in more detail the process involved once you are selected, but just very quickly, the matching between a mentor and a mentee is undertaken by IMNIS, and these matches are carefully considered on a case-by-case basis using a range of different criteria, which I'll cover in detail. But once you're matched, you then meet with your mentor. It's recommended that the frequency is about once a month for 1 hour. And separate to the mentoring, you'll also have the opportunity to participate in professional development workshops, including a workshop on mentoring itself, just to help you maximize the value that you get from the partnership that you have with your mentor. And you'll also be invited to various networking events during the program as well. And networking is a term that you'll probably get tired of us saying, but we do think it's important, and a big part of this program is opening up those opportunities for you to leverage other mentors, people within the STEM sector, and build your professional networks. So just on to the next slide. So the IMNIS Engage mentees, I'll just cover who they are. So in terms of eligibility, to be an IMNIS mentee, we currently provide mentoring to second and third year PhD students, either enrolled or employed at an Australian research organisation. For PhD students, they must be post-confirmation and in good standing. So typically in year 2 of their PhD, we do accept, as I mentioned before, third year PhD students, but I think the question you need to ask yourself is, do you have the capacity to commit to this program? You know, we do recommend second years, typically to avoid the pressures often faced in that final year of the PhD, where research is being finalised and thesis written. But if you do feel like you have 1 hour per month to meet with a mentor, to engage in the professional development programs throughout the program, then please do put an expression of interest through. I should note as well that we welcome mentees of any age, but mentees must be based in Australia for the duration of the program. So what have mentees said about IMNIS? I won't read these out directly, but you can see the types of areas that a mentor can help their mentee to build their knowledge and skills, typically in areas like networking, communication, working productively in a team environment, managing collaborations, commercialization, career transitioning with confidence, different professions in industry, transferable skills, and the value of having a PhD and the value that industry put on a person having a PhD as well. So just on to the next one, please. So for the mentees and the program, just to cover off on what's involved in this program for mentees in more detail. First is the matching process, in which each mentee is matched with an industry mentor. And IMNIS uses an Australian software called Mentor Loop to do the matching and provide a secure communications portal. The software does have an algorithm which I don't really trust. So the matching is done on a case-by-case basis by myself, where I try to find alignment with your specific research discipline and any goals that you've articulated in your profile, with the professional experience and expertise of our mentors. And it's very important. That's first and foremost in the matching process, is finding that alignment between your area of research and the professional experience of the mentor that we're considering matching you with. And it's very important for me to add, and I'll get to, you know, what a good profile looks like shortly, but this is all, the quality of the match is really enabled by the level of detail that you provide in your Mentor Loop profile. So please, when you are filling out your profile, be as detailed as possible. I'd like to know as much about you as possible to try and find the best quality match. Sometimes I'll have to recruit a new mentor to suit the goals that you've articulated. So you may not be matched with a mentor in the very first month of the program, but it's very important for me to say that the 12 months of mentoring officially commences on the day that you are matched. So you will get the full benefit of the program. Now, the next step after matching is for the mentee and the mentor to meet each other. This happens over 12 months, and we suggest meeting up once per month. And ideally, this is in person. That's secondary to finding that alignment between the mentor's professional experience and your research area. Especially after years of lockdown and all that jazz, I think it's important that we do have these face-to-face connections, and we do our best to try and facilitate that as much as possible, so you can meet up informally over a coffee and talk through your goals in person. So this isn't always possible. We do prioritize that alignment between your research area and the professional experience. So regular check-ins online are a great way to participate in the program as well. It's very important for me to say that it is up to the mentee to drive the relationship and initiate contact with their mentor and come prepared with goals and objectives to achieve through the mentoring relationship. And we provide very clear guidelines to both mentors and mentees on how to achieve the maximum value from your interactions. And we also run a mentoring workshop early in the program as well to help you further. We do get a lot of questions about what are the types of things I should be talking to my mentor about, and we have countless resources to help you there. But I will cover off on a few of these just to give you a bit of insight shortly. But finally, just on this slide, in addition to the regular mentoring sessions, we host those STEM career-related networking events. And these always have a guest speaker and a panel Q&A session. And some of the events that we deliver include our STEM Careers in Industry series, our Engaging with Industry series. We have Visionary Leadership to officially launch the new program, and the IMNIS Leaders Forum and IMNIS Interconnection sessions. I also mentioned the professional development workshops are run as part of the program as well. And these are very industry-focused topics like intellectual property and commercialization, understanding the innovation pipeline, career strategy and how to approach the job market, which is very different when you are transitioning out of academia into industry and what they look for. STEM communication as well. So there's a real opportunity here to upskill and position yourself well in your future career, regardless of whether you decide to pursue a career in industry or decide to stay in academia. So just the next slide, thanks. Now, I just want to cover off on the eligibility of the program. In the past, it's been quite exclusive to participants that have come from the medtech, pharma, and energy and minerals research disciplines. In the current program, which is coming to a close now before we relaunch in July, we moved to or transitioned to a single all of STEM program. So just to explain what that means, while medical technologies, pharmaceuticals, energy and minerals, these specific areas remain a core focus of the program, we're now inclusive of all STEM disciplines and STEM-related research areas, which enables more participants to get involved, basically. So I recognise that saying all of STEM can be a bit vague, and it obviously is, because I do get a lot of questions about, does my research area, is that a STEM discipline? But we've listed some priority areas which are aligned with ATSI's policy forums, which are made up of ATSI fellows to investigate and provide advice on issues that are critical to Australia's future. And I'll just cover off on what these priority areas are. You'll see them on the slide, but we have advanced manufacturing. And this can be research disciplines focused on the research, development and application of advanced machines, manufacturing and materials, and these are to enhance products or processes and increase competitiveness in the manufacturing sectors. We have agriculture and water resources, so any research area focused on increasing the utilisation and uptake of technology, engineering and science in offsetting and reducing pressures to agriculture, water resources and food value chains. Digital futures, so any research areas that are focused on the development and application of information and communication technologies, as well as the advancement of digital transformation in industry and society. Energy resources, renewables, minerals and mets. So this is mining equipment, technology and services. So any disciplines focused on the development and application of technology to improve sustainability and reduce the carbon footprint of Australia's energy supplies, as well as pathways to efficient and sustainable mineral resource management. Now we have health, very broad, but this is any research that seeks to improve health and well-being through prevention, identification and curing of disease, injury and disability, and lead to improved treatment options and increased knowledge about all factors in human health. Medical technologies and pharmaceuticals is the last one. So research areas relevant to medical technologies, biotechnologies, and the pharmaceutical sectors. So they're the priority focus areas. And if you do feel that you're unsure about whether your research area meets the criteria, please don't remain on the fence. IMNIS is available for a discussion to talk things through with you, and so is your organisation's coordinator as well. So please inquire if you aren't sure, and don't be deterred if you feel like you don't fit within any of those priority areas. So just on to the next one. Thanks, Katherine. So we have some targeted sub-programs which are embedded within the broader program. So in addition to the main mentoring program, these sub-programs provide additional professional development and networking opportunities for competitively selected IMNIS mentees. We have the Ready Connect program, the IMNIS International program, and the IMNIS Clinical program. And the activities are things like the Meet the Expert roundtable discussions, and additional professional development. And we cover topics like the value of networking, increasing influence through social media. We recently ran a session on project management, which was absolutely fantastic. So just to provide a bit more detail about these particular programs, the Ready Connect program selects mentees who are conducting research in high job growth potential areas And these have been identified by MTP Connect and cover areas like regenerative medicine, gene and stem cell therapies, digital health, just to name a few. There's plenty more, but that's just to give you an idea. The IMNIS International Program, this helps participants with a key focus on the global STEM ecosystem learn about and understand international trends and advances in applied science, technology, and engineering. And participants are matched with an internationally based mentor. And finally, the IMNIS Clinical Program focuses on participants researching in clinically focused areas to better understand how medical protocols and products can be developed, evaluated, produced, and commercialized. So these sub-programs are available and they're competitively selected, but these are opportunities that you can put your hand up for and try and participate in as well. And yeah, so just on to the next slide, thanks. So I'll just briefly touch on who our mentors are. With the current program, we've created nearly 400 mentoring partnerships overall, with the mentors being very influential industry leaders and expert level professionals with over a decade of experience beyond academia and a broad professional network for you to tap into as well. It's a bit of an unwritten rule for our mentors that they open up their own professional network, because we recognize that they won't have all the answers, but they might know somebody that does specialize in an area that you do have a particular interest in, and they can make an introduction for you. Most of our mentors commenced their career in academia before moving into an industry-based role. So they have that grounding and context to be able to understand some of the challenges you may face in trying to envisage your future career pathway. Most mentors have also managed to stay mobile between industry and academia, which raises an important point with IMNIS, that one side or the other, being industry or academia, is not necessarily better or worse. We're not advocating for one side or the other. I suppose the big challenge that the program aims to address is to enable greater levels of collaboration and cooperation between industry and academia overall. So just some of the mentors' professional roles on this current slide. Some of the main positions held by IMNIS mentors include board chairs, company directors, global heads of departments or organizations. There's a lot of C-suite executives, CEOs, general managers, chief scientific officers, industry research leaders and principal partners, just to name a few. This is just scratching the surface. So they come with very varied backgrounds, but all have a personal interest in assisting IMNIS mentees to identify the skills needed for successful industry careers, effective engagement and leadership beyond academia. And it should also be said that the mentors are doing this voluntarily and they aren't paid to be mentors. So it's important that those participating make the most out of their relationship with their mentor. So in practice, that is simply just being reliable and prepared, being agile with their availability to meet because they're extremely busy. But I'm sure, this comes with, who you are as professionals yourselves, and you know this, but I can't stress this enough that it is up to you to drive this relationship as well and be the first person to make contact and simply be prepared for each meeting. Just onto the next slide, thanks. Just wanting to briefly touch on their areas of expertise. So IMNIS mentors, they have a variety of professional expertise, primarily in areas of research and development, executive management, business development, strategic planning and project management. As we prepare for the relaunch of the program and after the first year of running the program with this all of STEM model, it'll be interesting to see how these statistics on professional expertise change. But I should say that we're constantly running mentor recruitment campaigns, especially now that we are all of STEM. There's a range of different disciplines that we have to have, that subject matter expertise to meet your requirements as mentees and to make sure that we best align, with your research area when we undertake the matching. Just onto the next slide, thanks. Pretty self-explanatory. This is just a quick slide showing you some of the current programs, matched mentors and mentees. And I think this really demonstrates the bond that's developed between mentor and mentee over the course of a year. Our data that we've gathered over the years shows that around 70% of mentors and mentees stay in touch beyond the formal program and continue their engagement over the long term. So yeah, look, there's not much more to say really. It's you know, there is a bond that's developed between both of you, and this relationship certainly extends beyond the formality of the formal program. So this next slide just covers the mentor and mentee matching, and I covered this briefly earlier, but I'll recap because it's very important. We use Mentor Loop to formalize matches between mentor and mentee, and Mentor Loop also serves as a way for you to communicate with each other, and any discussions between yourself and your mentor are confidential and only visible to you. If you participate, you'll be sent an invitation from us to register a profile on Mentor Loop, and this involves providing some basic demographical information, a biography, reasons for participation, just a drop-down menu, so you don't have to think too much, you just pick from what's most relevant. But do articulate any goals that you might want to achieve through your participation as well. There's also an opportunity to highlight any specific requests, and an example may be that you would prefer being mentored by a female mentor. So we're very, very driven to accommodate these types of requests. And I mentioned before that the matching is really based on the information you provide in your profile, and consideration is given to things like that alignment between mentee research area and the mentor's professional experience, geographic proximity to each other, alignment between personal interests and hobbies where possible, and other relevant information provided by the mentee or any special requests. So if you decide you want to have a different mentor at some point in the program, we can accommodate this. We encourage all matched mentors and mentees to meet 3 times at least before making major changes to their match. And we can provide extra support during this process to facilitate a positive mentoring experience. And if after this time, after a few catch-ups, a mentor and a mentee still wish to change, there's a no-blame exit policy that we have, and we'll work with you to find you a new mentor. So we've moved on to this slide now, which is, you know, I've selected this as a bit of an example of what an ideal Mentor Loop profile looks like, and what it will ask you once you receive an invitation from IMNIS to register a profile. So this is an example of a profile you will complete, and shows the information requested, that basic demographical information. But I want you to take special note of the level of detail provided by Jacqueline in her biography. It covers a bit about her background prior to commencing her PhD. It describes what she's particularly interested in or passionate about. It also describes what she likes to do in addition to her PhD research. Now, I'm highlighting this biography because it has a level of detail that is ideal to help IMNIS put her profile side by side with a mentor's profile and find a good match, and find that alignment that I've mentioned before. So just on to the next slides, just continuing on from the profile. So we also ask that you list your participation reasons and any future aspirations. Now, you may not know what these are at this stage, so it's okay to put unsure. You'll notice hobbies listed, which you may find strange, but it does help us try and gain an understanding of who you are outside of your professional life, and helps to facilitate matching based on shared interests with your mentor, which may help to develop rapport with each other. Next slide, please. Now, I mentioned this before, and I just want to cover off on this because it's always good. And this will be covered in detail in our guidelines, which you will receive, and also during the mentoring workshop at the program's commencement. But generally, we recommend that you focus on career-based questions when you are trying to find things to talk about with your mentor. So career-based questions, the value of networking, how to effectively network and build connections, areas to upskill, which might be in areas like understanding IP and the innovation pipeline, building your commercial acumen, improving your communication skills, and these are just a few examples. You might share stories with each other. Your mentor may give you insights into decisions they got wrong, which they always call war stories. And they're really valuable, actually, because you know they never got everything right, and their careers weren't always a straight line. And that's a key lesson throughout this whole program as well, that you know there are going to be unexpected things in your life and your career which do ultimately provide opportunities as well. But lastly, self-awareness, and this also includes areas for you to identify together where you may need to develop your skills, but also helping you identify what transferable skills that you have and have developed through research, which are valid and applicable in industry and should be highlighted when you approach the job market. And to name a few, just to get you started, these types of transferable skills are things like analytical skills, presentation skills, project management and problem solving. But ultimately, remember that your mentor is there to support you and help you achieve your goals. Be open and honest about your concerns, any questions that you might have. Be open about your aspirations and take advantage of their knowledge and experience. And a reminder again that we'll be hosting a comprehensive workshop to all participants to give you the skills and insights needed to really maximize the value of mentoring and help you in your preparation before your first meeting as well. And to give you the tools for some self-reflection before your first meeting, so you do have that self-awareness and can identify the key areas for goal setting. Just on to the next slide, please. So the keys to success, and like any relationship, there's ways to ensure that both the mentor and mentee can benefit from a supportive, productive and fulfilling relationship. And I'll read these straight from the slide. Areas like mutual respect and trust, empowerment and support, empathy, maintaining confidentiality and professional boundaries, clear and open communication, defined goals, agreed timelines, keeping your word and commitment, reviewing progress, modifying goals and agreements as appropriate. So, we have a recommended structure to approach the 12 months of mentoring. You don't have to follow this if you don't want to, but we find it does help. Where the first couple of months are really just about getting to know each other and building that rapport, talking about your backgrounds and discussing any potential goals. The next couple of months is really focused on setting goals and targets, setting action plans and exploring possibilities. And then most of the mentoring program will be you proactively working through your plan, sharing progress with your mentor and seeking feedback and asking questions along the way. And lastly, the final month or two is recommended to be simply just a period of reflection. So onto that next slide, thanks. The impact report. This is our impact report we create at the conclusion of each program. So after surveying both mentors and mentees about their experience in the program. In our last program, there were high levels of collaboration and engagement within our mentoring partnerships. Most of the mentees said they had a better understanding of industry, the skills needed to succeed, the careers available, and that they had extended their professional network beyond academia. Most mentees said that they attained knowledge and skills to assist them in engaging and collaborating with industry. 2/3 of our industry mentors were engaged or planning to engage in their mentees' academic research, their research group, or their organisation, which I think really demonstrates the positive effects of these industry academia collaborations, which are felt on both sides of the mentoring partnership. And these partnerships aren't a one-way street where the mentee gets all the benefit. The mentors really do benefit from mentoring you as well. They get insights into the future workforce and other points of view, and it's a reciprocal arrangement with this. Back to the report. At the conclusion of the last program, the feedback from participating mentees was overwhelmingly in favour of IMNIS introducing internships as a program offering, and that's exactly what we've done. So I'll talk briefly about our IMNIS alumni programs, which I mentioned at the start, and these are open to you to apply for after you've undertaken the IMNIS Engage mentoring program. So thank you. So the STEM careers progression with IMNIS. So I did mention this at the start. We've introduced new programs beyond IMNIS Engage to offer a genuine progression and opportunity to apply the skills that you've gained through your mentorship. So on completion of IMNIS Engage, all participants become alumni and can choose to participate in IMNIS Ignite, IMNIS Catalyst, or participate in both. I should add that these are competitive programs that require you to apply, but we strongly encourage you to do so. So just on to the next one, thanks. IMNIS Ignite. So the first alumni program I'll speak to is IMNIS Ignite. This is a brand new postgraduate internship program that provides industry experience for IMNIS Engage alumni in a real-world setting and fills a clear workforce skills gap in the STEM sector. This program aims to help the STEM sector grow and create stronger career pathways for highly skilled, motivated PhD students, graduates and early career researchers in STEM. And the internships are inclusive of all STEM disciplines, which again align with ATSI's forum activities in health, energy, resources and renewables, minerals and mets, digital futures, advanced manufacturing, agriculture and water resources. But a couple of key points from the slide. IMNIS is constantly recruiting host organisations to take on mentees. It's a rolling program, so once you've completed the mentoring program, you can apply at any time. It's open to alumni right back to 2016. So if you do decide in a couple of years' time that you want to apply for an internship, if you've spent some time away from IMNIS, then you are welcome to apply. The internships run between 3 to 6 months, can be located anywhere in Australia. They are paid internships in which interns receive a stipend from the host organisation. So just on to the next one, thanks. Now, the IMNIS Catalyst program, again, this is an ambassador program where IMNIS alumni represent IMNIS and ATSI in the broader STEM ecosystem. And participants in this program are provided with the tools and opportunities to share their STEM journeys. This includes receiving media and communications training, engaging with senior level high school students and speaking at a range of internal and external events. There's also a range of professional development opportunities to participate in throughout the program as well. So I'm not sure, yeah, we're up towards the end of this presentation about how to join. This might be best left to Katherine just to cover off on the process within QUT. But just some key points at the end there. How do I make the most out of this program? It literally is 1 hour per month to meet with your mentor and build a positive relationship. There will be an additional hour here and there just to participate in professional development opportunities, but we don't think it's too taxing. So hopefully that you feel the same way. So yeah, I'm not sure what the next slide is, Katherine. We'll just have a quick look. The next steps. So Katherine did mention this at the start, but there will be an expression of interest form along with the selection process. The selection is managed by QUT, and QUT does select the participants, and IMNIS does not, but we do engage with you after your selection. So I'll hand back to Katherine just to highlight a bit more about that before we answer some questions.
Yeah, thanks so much for that, Scott. Thank you for your fantastic presentation. There's a few questions coming in, and I'm going to go back to those in a second. But initially, so Scott was talking a lot about Mentor Loop, and that's where you'll fill out a profile once you've been selected for the program. But to be selected for the program, you need to fill out the QUT EOI, IMNIS EOI form, which is currently live, and it closes at 9 a.m. on the 12th of June. From about 9:05 a.m. that morning, I'm going to be looking at those applications. So it's really important you get them in on time. No late applications will be accepted. So what I'm looking for when we're assessing which of our students will be selected for IMNIS is we're looking at alignment with the program goals, as well as any engagement in previous development activities that you've undertaken. And there's spaces on the form to add in information about all these things. And what we're looking for is students who've shown an ongoing commitment and interest in their professional development and engaging with industry throughout their PhD and, extra professional development and research and development training to date. We're also looking at an ability to commit to the program. So we want students who really make the most out of this experience. And from our side, it's not just that you can commit to the 1 hour, the 1 hour per month meeting with the mentor and the professional networking sessions, but also that you do things like respond to Scott's emails straight away, or the Mentor Loop emails when they come out saying, you need to fill in your profile. We really need you to be on top of that from the beginning. And importantly, the candidates that we put forward for IMNIS each year are selected from your online applications. So it's really important that you do a good job at those, treat it a little bit like a job application or, any other application that you would do, because places are really limited and application into the program is competitive. So really make sure that you take some time and give complete answers to those questions. Even doing that, it should only take about 10-15 minutes at the most, but it's really important that you do give thorough answers and answer all those questions, with some thoughtfulness that goes into them, particularly the question where you're talking about which future roles you aspire to. I've had students in the past who didn't get selected, who may have written, the one role that they're looking for is research, postgraduate researcher Australia and postgraduate researcher international. Those sorts of things, they don't tell me a lot about what you're looking for and why you want to be part of the program. So really think about the answers that you're putting in there and how it relates back to the program goals, because that's what we're looking for. So I hope that's answered the question about how the process works, and the number of students selected will be based. We're still finalizing how many will be selected, and that will be based on the number of applications that we get. Okay, another question that comes through is that a person who's already submitted the EOI would like to know how long it takes to get back with the selection outcome. So that's a question that's done on QUT's side, and we are hoping that we'll have answers out to successful applicants within 2 weeks of applications closing. Hoping it will actually be a lot sooner, but I'm going to say 2 weeks in case something comes up and something happens. And then the last question that I can see here is someone wanting to know if they can join this program because they're a PhD in leadership in education. The answer to that question depends on what else. So PhD in leadership and education, you will need to tell us more on the application and how your application links to STEM. I don't know, Scott, if you want to jump in on that one as well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, look, it's very hard to answer the question without much more insight than that. But we have had a participant in the current program who is focused on education, but with a focus on the policy side of things as well, and engaging with government. So look, there's probably a way to find the STEM connection in most of these things. If you want to discuss it with a member of the IMNIS team, then please email through. Our email address is imnis@atsi.org.au, or just engage with Katherine and explore that a bit more. Or if you feel like you've got the answer there, then just provide an adequate level of detail in your expression of interest form.
Yeah, and if I can just add to that, it's kind of back to that job application idea. If you think it connects to the program and you're going to get value out of it and you're somehow connected to STEM, then don't leave it to us to read between the lines of that. Be really explicit and clear in your application as to how and why this connects. Yeah. And also on that, we look at faculty, but we don't select students based on their faculties. We have the Faculty of Science and Engineering and Health, but we've had IMNIS participants in the past from education, from creative industries, from business and law. So it's all about those connections, because we know that we have students working on STEM related research projects in all our faculties. So every faculty, students from every faculty are eligible to apply.
And I think particularly in education, if there's an interest in how to engage with the STEM sector from an education perspective, then that's that's very interesting for us too. So yeah, look forward to learning more about that.
Okay. Great. Another question that's come through, Scott, is a question that I'll answer. Is a student whose PhD candidate is set to finish in February next year and wondering if they're still eligible to apply. Now, from QUT's side, it depends what you mean by finish candidate. If you mean that that's when you're lodging for examination, in which case that is likely very fine. We do like students to be still actively engaged for the majority of the program. But because IMNIS didn't run last year, because QUT didn't participate in IMNIS last year, for those final year students who would have missed out last year, we are being a bit more lenient with that requirement. And I don't think there's no barriers on the IMNIS side of things, I believe, to participate once you're finished.
No, not at all. No, that's really down to the university. But like I mentioned before, this program's open to second and third year PhD students. So yeah, I encourage you to put EOI into the program.
Yeah. Great. And just one more question. Someone's asked about Scott's email address. That is on some of the slides that I'll be sharing to all attendees after the session. And I'll also be sending out, I'll put in the text fields where you can contact Scott and where you can contact myself. Generally, if it's a question around some of the program eligibility from QUT side or your candidature questions, they'll come to us. But if you send them either way, we'll connect to the other person if needed. And I think that is all for the questions at the moment.
If there's any more that do come through, then please email us at imnis@atse.org.au, and we'll be happy to answer the questions that you might have. So, but thanks everybody for joining today. It was great to present to you, and yeah, all the best.
Yeah, thank you so much to everyone. As I said, applications are open. Make sure you submit an application as soon as well, before the deadline, I should say. Pay attention to it, and also don't let the information today kind of put you off at all. Please submit. You know, we want as many people as possible to show their interest in the program and to participate. And we'll leave you to your rest of the day. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you.